Where did I get this big as a billboard forehead? Who do I resemble with these size 11 feet? Who passed down these genes for these boobs that were once big but are now long? As early as I can remember, I knew I was loved by a mom who baked cookies every day, a dad who taught me how to sled down steep hills, and grandparents who worshiped me. I also always knew I was adopted, that I was chosen by my parents. But I had so many questions. I felt like a puzzle with too many missing pieces to see the whole picture. I had my birth mother's name, Imogene Gann, and after I gave birth to my own daughter, I was determined to find the woman who had given birth to me. My baby girl was the center of my world the instant I gazed into her eyes. If I had had to give her up, I couldn't imagine the well of sorrow I would have fallen into. I had to reassure my birth mother that she'd made a selfless decision, that I had a perfect childhood, that I was grateful for what she had done. Some detective work found the name Imogene Gann on an internet bulletin board message, which led to a half-sister, Christine, who lived in Oregon. After hundreds of emails and marathon phone conversations, I flew there for Thanksgiving. Decades and miles vanished as we fit the pieces of our past into place. In one of the first emails, my half-sister told me that my birth mother was dead. She died over 30 years ago. But since Christine was raised by our mother until she was 7, she had stories and photos to share. On the flight back home, after getting stuffed with turkey and tails, I cradled a photo album full of pictures of a woman who had a huge forehead, just like me. A girl who had a smirky smile, just like me. A teenager with a figure and feet like mine. I'd found part of what I'd been looking for. 6 months after Thanksgiving, we found another reason to be thankful. For some reason, the internet message had never been deleted, and another half-sister was discovered. Nancy lived in Columbia, less than 2 hours away. Thrilled, Chris flew to St. Louis for Easter, and the 3 girls got together, each with photos to compare ourselves as youngsters and to fill in the gaping holes. We knew we'd never have the box our jigsaw puzzle came in. Our mom was gone. But now we could almost see the whole picture. Growing up in Oregon, our mama Imogene had lost her mother, Pauline, to mental illness when she was still a child. Pauline had been in and out of mental hospitals, depressed, before drowning in a creek. Imogene's father remarried. Our mom ended up growing up with half-brothers and a stepmother, but it was obvious from photographs she wasn't part of a loving family. In one picture in particular sat her father, her stepmother, and the 2 boys all crowded together on one end. On the other end, with a canyon between them, was my teenage mom. When she was still in her teens, Imogene moved from Oregon to rural Missouri, got pregnant, and gave up Nancy, my older sister. She left her small town life and moved to St. Louis to get a fresh start. Pregnant again, she signed adoption papers on me. A few years later, after moving back to Oregon, she was pregnant a 3rd time. Refusing to give up another child, she held on to Christine. For 7 years, they led a rough life, a string of boyfriends. Sometimes Chris had to root through garbage cans to fill her tummy. And while our mom was battling depression, her father and stepmother were fighting her in court to take away her baby girl. 2 weeks after she lost custody, my mother, Chris's mother, Nancy's mother, killed herself. She did leave a note, saying she was mentally ill and didn't see herself ever getting any better. She couldn't hold on any longer if she couldn't hold on to at least one of her daughters. Imogene may have felt like she'd never be part of the picture, but she was. 6 months after she gave up Nancy, she wrote a heartfelt letter to the adoption agency, wishing her little girl the best. Before she left me in the hospital, she gave me a name. And when she took her own life, she left Chris a daughter who would one day fill in the other two sisters' missing pieces. I like to think we're creating a new picture, still dropping in the pieces one at a time as we make new discoveries, creating a happier puzzle picture, one that our mother would be happy to see taking shape. So now I know where I got the big feet, the high forehead, the red hair. Oops, sorry. The red hair comes out of a box.